Hey guys, so this is my first video for the Forever Football Podcast. My name is Freddie. Today I'm going to be going over through a one-round mock draft today. So to start things off, we're going to be going with the Bengals first-round pick. And in my opinion, there's no other choice but Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in this draft and hands down one of the best players. So while Joe Burrow may not have the arm strength, he does have the accuracy and the just know how to play the position. So following that up, we're going to have the Redskins pick, and no surprise again, it's going to be Chase Young. I don't really have to say much about him. He is a stud pass rusher. He has all the physical tools you could ever want, and he's going to be an impact player day one. Obvious pick. So now that we got the easy picks out of the way, let's go ahead and get to the Lions at pick number 3. So the Lions are going to be selecting Derrick Brown. Now he is a phenomenal player. He is very strong, very powerful at the point of attack, and he just blows offensive linemen back. And after losing some key defensive linemen, the Lions really need it. So at 4th overall, we have the Giants selection next, and they're going to be selecting Tristain Wirf. He is a combine warrior. He showed out there. He showed he was a great athlete, great movement ability, and he has some pop to him. And he's going to be able to protect Daniel Jones, keep him upright. Great selection there. So now at 5th overall, we have the Dolphins pick, and everyone has them selecting a quarterback, but I don't know if I see that at 5th overall. I think they go the Redskins approach from last year, and they wait on the quarterback and get whoever is there at their later selection. So with their 5th pick, I think they go Isaiah Simmons. He's the best player on the board, versatile, can play anything you want him to play on the defensive side of the ball, basically. And he's just going to be a stud for them. They get one of the best players in the draft. And he's really a chess piece. So if you want to use him right, you got to use him as safety, you got to use him as edge rusher, you got to use him as linebacker, anywhere. The Chargers are on the clock next, and they are racing to get this pick in. They are selecting Tua Tagovailoa from Alabama, and this guy, probably no need for introduction, but some injury concerns about his overall long-term health. He's a great athlete, great quarterback, very accurate, everything you'd want. He's similar to Russell Wilson, but a lefty, but there are just too many concerns about his injury, and I think that scares the Dolphins away, especially not being able to test him. So next up picking is the Panthers at number 7 overall. And I really think they're going with Jeff Okudah, who is the best cornerback in the draft. And he's going to be an elite player probably from day one. He has everything you could want for as a corner. Elite size, elite speed, elite awareness. He does everything right. Yeah, so not much thought to that pick. They just go with best player available. At 8 overall, we have the Cardinals picking, and their number one need right now is to support their quarterback, Kyler Murray. So they select Andrew Thomas, and he's going to be his blindside protector for the next, I don't know how many years, but it's a pick they really need. Next up on the clock is the Jaguars, and 1 year ago they had the best cornerback tandem in the league with Jalen Ramsey and AJ Boye. Now both of them aren't here. So they go with Cj Henderson, who is the best cornerback remaining on the board. He is going to be a day one impact player, and he's going to replace AJ Boye very nicely. Next on the clock is the Browns, and their number one need is to protect Baker Mayfield at all costs. He already has some good, talented weapons around him, but his O-line last year was subpar at best. It's the main reason they didn't do anything in the season, and they go with Jedrick Wills, the tackle from Alabama, to shore up that offensive line even more so than they already have through free agency, through the addition of Jack Conklin from the Tennessee Titans. The Jets are up next with their pick, and they go with Ceedee Lamb, the wide receiver out of Oklahoma. His yards after catch ability is second to none. I mean, he is going to get 5 to 10 yards basically every play, and those are free yards because it's coming after the catch. And he's a home run hitter, great route runner, one of the best players in this draft, best wide receiver in this draft. Up next, we have Chucky's team himself, the Raiders, and with their pick at number 11 overall, scratch that, number 12 overall is Jeudy, the wide receiver out of Alabama, the best route runner in this class, hands down. He has elite speed, elite athleticism, and he's just going to get open every single time that you need him to because he's that talented. Up next, we have the 49ers pick, and they needed help in their secondary last year. It was really on show at the Super Bowl. Their defensive front was very talented, got after the quarterback, but overall it was their corners who didn't step up and make enough impact. So at 13th overall, they go Jeff Gladney, the cornerback out of TCU. Now, Jeff Gladney may not have the size that you would like, but he is a great athlete. He does a lot of things well. He rips the ball out. He has length. The jump balls, despite him not being that tall, he is really good at them. And he is going to be an impact player for them from day one. Next, we have the Buccaneers, and they need to protect Tom Brady. He's a little long in the tooth. He's going to be, I think, 43 this season. And they need to protect him at all costs. So they're going to go with Mekhi Becton, who is probably the best tackle remaining on the board. And they're going to shore up that offensive line, help get him some protection. I think he failed a drug test at the Combine, which, if that's true, I would have him a lot lower because it's the Combine and you know it's coming. You know the exact date. You know when to stop smoking weed. You're an athlete. And that's something you just have to do at the NFL level, regardless if I agree with it or not. You can't. It's the rules, and you have to follow them. Moving on, a little bit of a run on tackles as the Broncos at 15th overall select Ezra Cleveland. They just go with a player that they need, a player that's going to fill in day one. Great athlete, great movement skills, going to step in. The Broncos are actually a team that's looking up in the near future, so watch out for them with this pick. The Falcons are up next at 16th overall, and a bit of a surprise here. They're going to go with Justin Herbert, the quarterback out of Oregon. Yeah, I think Matt Ryan is getting a little old. I don't think he's been the same since that MVP season, and I think if they get Justin Herbert here, they can work with him, they can develop him for the next year, maybe 2, maybe even 3. Or they could trade him, get a whole lot of assets, make another run here at Matt Ryan's end of his career. Up next, we have the Cowboys picking, and the Cowboys have a few needs. Safety is one big one, and they're going to go with Grant Delpit out of LSU. He is one of the many players in a long line of LSU studs, and he's going to fill a need for them. He's going to be a key, just chess piece for their defense, and he's going to take them, I don't know about to that next level, but I think they can make some noise in the playoffs with him, especially at the back end of their defense. So just watch out for them boys. So the Dolphins are on the clock with their second pick at number 18 overall, and they're going to go with the quarterback that they could have gone with at 5, but they waited smartly and got Isaiah Simmons as well. They're going with Jordan Love. He's a guy who's going to sit behind Fitzmagic for a year, maybe 2, and he is going to be a stud if he is developed properly. I mean, this guy has all the physical tools you could ever want. He's athletic. He has a cannon for an arm. He is Patrick Mahomes-like, but there's only one Patrick Mahomes, so I wouldn't bet on him being that, but I think he'll be a damn good quarterback if he can get some coaching up. The Raiders are up next, and at 19 overall, they don't have too many players at their position to need right now, but they're going to go with Kenneth Murray, the linebacker out of Oklahoma. This guy is a very athletic player, rangy, sideline-to-sideline player, and the Raiders have needed that in the middle of their defense, and he's going to be a stud for them. In my opinion, he also offers some rush ability, which the Raiders desperately need since trading Khalil Mack, and they can get it from the edge or even as a blitzer because I think he's that talented that he just will make a key impact there. Another team with multiple first-round picks, the Jaguars are selecting again, and they go with Denzel Mims to help out their quarterback, Gardner Minshew. And I think Mims is a great player. he came from Baylor, so his route tree is a bit of a concern, but I think he showed at the Senior Bowl and at the Combine that he is more than capable of running routes right now, and he's only going to get better because with more experience, he's just going to become that much better. I really like Mims as an actual sleeper, even though he's going pretty high in this draft. I think he's going to be a stud. He has everything you could want. He's size, speed, and watch out for that pick. The Eagles are up next, and their biggest need right now is wide receiver. They struggled with drops all year. They struggled getting open at times and with injuries, so they just need anybody really. And they get an actual really nice player in Henry Ruggs III out of Alabama. Insanely fast player. He has some incredible yards after catch ability, and he is just going to be that do-it-all Deshaun Jackson type player. He's a deep threat. He takes screens. He takes quick slants. He's going to be a stud for them. Take it to the house a few times. Next up, we have the Vikings on the clock at 22 overall, and they're going to go with a stud D-line, which they desperately need after losing Linval Joseph. So they're going to go with Javon, who's the best player on the board right now. They go best player available and position in need. And he is a great player. His bull rush is incredible. He just blows people back. Very athletic, aggressive. But I just don't think his floor is that high. And I think some teams will be concerned about that because he could be a bust. Overall, great pick for the Vikings. I'm actually a Vikings fan, so if this happens, I'm going to be very happy. So let's hope the board falls that way. So the Patriots are up next at 23rd overall, and with not much left for their needs, they're just going to go with Yetur Gross-Matos, who is the best pass rusher on the board. He's going to be an impact player. They really need some pass rush help. Chase Winovich is a player who they drafted last year, who I think is going to take that next step forward. But I think they need that other player on the other side of the line to help their already great defense. Especially after losing Jamie Collins. I think he's a key need at a key position. And I think this is a match made in heaven for the Patriots. Up next, we got the Saints picking at number 24th overall. And they don't have too many needs, so they're going to go with one of the best players on the board left, and T. Higgins, who is going to be a stud player for them. Very Michael Thomas-like. I don't think he has that yards after catch ability that Michael Thomas does, but I think he's a great possession receiver, and I think he's going to be very similar and a good key contributor to them this season. The Vikings are on the clock next with their second first-round pick at 25th overall, and they go with, once again, the best player on the board in Christian Fulton, cornerback out of LSU. DBU, not much else to say. He's a cornerback who has all the traits of an elite player. He has everything you want, size, speed, and he has some pretty good coverage ability, and I think about midway through the season is when he's really going to take off, hit his stride. So also a key position in need for the Vikings because they did lose Xavier Rhodes, Trey Waynes, and Mackenzie Alexander, so this is a very big need for them. Moving on to pick 26, the Dolphins are on the clock once again, and they're going to go with tackle Austin Jackson. And they just really need to protect Jordan Love, make it as easy as possible for him, because I think he is going to need a lot of help early on, at least in his career, before he really can understand the game and take off. So they go with position of need, great value, good overall pick. Seahawks are up at 27th overall, and not the sexiest pick, but here's a bit of a run on offensive linemen, so they get their guy, I think the last of the really elite, not elite, but the last of the really capable linemen, at least tackle-wise. They go with Josh Jones, tackle out of Houston. This guy is really nice, really solid. I do not think he's a complete player by any means. I think he does need some development in his pass protection, and also I think he does need to add some power, put on a little bit of weight, but mostly power, so he can take on bull rushes more effectively, and really maul in the run game. Next up, we have the Ravens. The Ravens do not have a lot of needs. They are a very talented team who only need a few guys here and there to really get over that hump, and they get one of their guys in Kayvon Chason, or Chason. Sorry if I butchered your name, but he is a great player out of LSU. I think he should have gone a little bit earlier because pass rushers have that premium on them. But I think he is a very talented, athletic rusher with some power, but I think he's a little thin. But the Ravens do need help on the rush side. They were the team that blitzed the most last year, so if they could get pressure without blitzing, it's just only going to take their team to the next level. The Titans are on the clock next, and they need to help out Ryan Tannehill, so they go with Jalen Reagor. He's a wide receiver out of TCU. He has elite speed, and he's going to add a great dimension that they don't really have. And he's going to be a wide receiver who can take a short little screen, short little slant, and take it to the house from anywhere. He's going to be able to outrun defenders like nothing, and it's overall a great pick for them. So the Packers are on the clock next, and I really think if Jordan Love or any quarterback like that would to fall to this spot, I think they would go with them and do the old Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre approach, but sadly there's no one on the board like that left. So they go with Cole Kmet, the tight end out of Notre Dame. He is the best tight end on the board. He's going to give the Packers a tight end they haven't really had in quite a while. I know Jimmy Graham was capable for them, but he was a shell of himself. The old Jimmy Graham from the Saints, he was just a completely different player, and I think it's going to add another dimension to their offense that's going to make them even more dangerous. Up next on the clock are the 49ers at 31st overall, and I think they reach a little bit here, but I think they're going to go with Isaiah Wilson, the tackle out of Georgia. Many think he could also be a guard, but I think he's capable of playing tackle. I think it's a bit of a reach, but I think he looks NFL ready, and he has some pretty good fundamentals. I think he needs to work on that a little bit. Some technique he needs to clean up, but I think he's going to be a good player to sit behind Joe Staley for a year, learn under him, really develop into that next elite tackle for them. I also think Mike McGlinchey could make that transition to left tackle, but I don't see him doing it, and I think they would really much rather get a left tackle rather than having to get a right tackle and flipping Mike McGlinchey. Last but most definitely not least, the Kansas City Chiefs are on the clock with their last pick in the first round, 32nd overall. To wrap up the draft, I think they go with Trayvon Diggs, the cornerback out of Alabama. Their secondary was at the end of the season, it was pretty good, but overall I think it needed work, and I think Trayvon Diggs is a great athlete who will step in and be that enforcer there on the back end with Tyrann Mathieu, and I think with that little duo, I think their secondary goes from capable to more than substantial. So that is the end of the draft. Let me know what you think, what I got wrong, what I got right. If I'm just being an idiot, let me know. Like and subscribe. I'm going to be trying to post as much as I can, try to do it daily, but with my work schedule and school and the fact that I just had a baby, it's going to be a little bit difficult, but let's see what we can do.